Welcome to the Nameless College Football Show, where we don't know what to call ourselves, but we do know what we're talking about sometimes. I am Brandon. I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Petey. Petey, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, anytime. So, week 1 coming up. We have to talk about week 0, though. Farmageddon in Ireland, Iowa State, Kansas State, one of the longest continuous rivalries in college football history. We watched most of this game together. What did you think about what we saw?
If that's the product we're sending to Ireland to try and get Ireland on board with college football, I am severely disappointed with that attempt. That was probably watching Gamecock football week 1 is usually a poor description of what you would call football, but this was really bad to watch, and I can't say that we won any hearts and minds as far as Ireland goes. They're probably pretty similar to what they saw.
It felt very, very much like the shepherd's pie of football games, so I'm hoping they're used to that. So maybe they're okay with it. But everything about it was very sloppy. Particularly for me, the fact that the field just lost all of its markings in all of the rain.
Yeah. Which seems like you would... I mean, they're used to painting fields for soccer and stuff. And it rains there a lot. You would think that would be not a big deal. But
yeah.
As far as like being able to see where the lines were or the Big 12 emblem or anything, it just wasn't there. It was like a faint hint of markings. So maybe it looked better on the field, but from the aerial view that we had on TV was not much to be seen.
It was very much reminiscent of our time playing those middle schoolers at Marion Square with no markings, just pure chaos. But it was sunny for us. It wasn't sunny for these people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And the field was wet, and the state of play showed that it was wet. But man, that was a sloppy game.
Turnovers. It just looked like no one wanted to win to begin with. Iowa State did win 24-21, but a ton of turnovers. Both quarterbacks each accounted for their team's 3 touchdowns, Rocco Becht and Avery Johnson, who we will talk about in a second. But if you didn't watch the game and I told you, oh, Rocco Becht accounted for 3 touchdowns, you'd be like, oh, Rocco Becht must have had a great game.
No. He did. He had 1 rushing touchdown, and then the other 2 were just completely just like blown coverages on defense. It's really disappointing. I thought Kansas State defense would be a lot better than they were, but I think they were kind of up front for the first 3 quarters, and then just went to shit.
Yeah. So maybe they didn't know where they were supposed to defend because they couldn't see the lines, and so they got confused. And they just kind of stood there. So I don't know.
I mean, I could see them being offsides probably on multiple occasions, but it would not surprise me with the state of that field, not knowing where you are.
No, it was rough. And it got even rougher after the game when outside of the stadium, Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson's dad and his brother were caught on camera fighting each other. I don't even know where to begin.
We don't, as far as I could tell, we don't have a clear understanding as what they were fighting over. It was just started with bickering during the or after the end of the game, and then ended with one of their faces getting smashed into a puddle.
I believe the dad was winning the fight from what...
I hope so. As a father, you don't want to be beaten up by your son.
No, I could beat mine up. He's 3 weeks old. But I could also beat my dad up. So, and I'm guessing you could beat your dad up as well.
Probably pretty easily at this point. But it's not a good look when you're fighting your father in the parking lot of a, football game that you traveled across the world to get to.
Across the ocean to fight your dad in in Irish parking lot is probably not
It's probably
what.
pretty standard for Ireland, but
Yeah, yeah. When in Dublin, fight your dad in the parking lot. I don't know. You're right. The statement, they did issue an apology and to everyone and stated they were bickering, but they did not say what they were fighting over, which clearly that's all I care about. I want to know what bickering rose to this level of now we're fighting in a parking lot.
clearly this family makes great decisions based on the state of affairs over there. So I can't imagine that what was said was particularly low-lying fruit.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be for their family is probably something that just happened 30 years ago. They just haven't let go. But
You just brought it up. Yeah. So I don't know. It obviously stinks for Avery Johnson, who had nothing to do with it. But then you are dragged into it because they're your relatives. And man, I've got some relatives I would not want to be dragged into things with. But just more entertaining than the game for sure.
That was a horrible game to watch. It's hard for me to say that was football. It was the amount of turnovers were just ridiculous. I mean, that game looked like, so at the start of the first three series was Iowa State. They got a little bit. They punted the ball, and then Kansas State muffed it and gave Iowa State the ball on like the 9-yard line, and then immediately just fumbled it right back to them. Fantastic. And then Iowa State had another fumble later on. It was a lot of clumsy maneuverings by quarterbacks and running backs, and then muff punts. So
the parking lot brawl was way more skillful and entertaining. So we will leave week 0 in the past, and we will now move to the future, which is called week 1. I would like to start with the Arch Manning era, starting at Texas. ESPN had a story. It was actually an excerpt from Seth Wickersham, one of the best long-form sports writers around. His book, American Kings, biography of the quarterback, where it kind of details Arch's recruitment to Texas. Were you able to check this story out?
I was not.
So
I saw the link you sent, but it wouldn't open up for me. But I couldn't. I tried searching on ESPN. I couldn't find it. But I'm not a very good researcher.
Well, that makes me want to fight my dad. So it details the recruiting process. Like I said, some interesting things that stood out to me. At one point, Arch was considering going to Virginia because it was not a football school, and he thought he could kind of fly under the radar, live more of a normal college student life. If for some reason you've stumbled across the Nameless College Football Show and don't know anything about college football, Arch Manning is from the football Manning family. I don't know if any of the dads and sons have fought, but that started with Archie Manning, whose sons, obviously Peyton and Eli, are legendary football players. Maybe not. I don't know if I would call Eli legendary, but
he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, so
he does. Both against Brady, which is very funny.
More than his dad.
So, I don't know. So we got, and his dad, Arch's dad, is Cooper, who could not play football. He had a spinal condition. So the thought of Arch flying under the radar at any school, kind of a funny thought. And another thing that stood out, then Alabama defensive coordinator Pete Golding was responsible for recruiting Arch to Alabama. Pete Golding is now at Ole Miss. During the recruitment, he brought up to Arch, he was like, Steve Sarkisian, Texas head coach, one of my best friends. Man, I sure do hope he stays sober this time. And I was like, I don't think y'all are truly best friends if you are reminding this teenager that this other man who is recruiting him is a recovering alcoholic. That's kind of a dick move. But, Petey, it is a billion-dollar industry. Did Pete Golding cross the line, in your opinion?
I mean, not for me, but maybe to an Arch Manning who was probably, 16, 17 years old at the time. He probably didn't remember Sarkisian having that drinking issue and getting fired for it. Or at least he probably was very young at the time, so it probably wasn't a thing. But I would have, I haven't forgotten about it, so it wouldn't have been a problem for me. It seems like Sark has turned it around. He's done well.
Oh, yeah.
He got reincarnated by Saban, and then has gone on to bigger and better things, like things do, like Saban has done for a lot of his coordinators. But yeah, he's got Texas going in the right direction. Texas was floundering ever since
Mac Brown.
Yeah. I think Texas is pretty happy with the state of affairs there.
Yes. It was very odd to see that from someone who did try to frame himself as Steve Sarkisian's best friend. That was
he was trying to rib him, like you and I and our friend, like that's true. We'll jab each other, but we're probably not doing it to
young men.
People we're trying to get to come to our school.
Yes, that would be odd. That would be very odd if we did that. If we talked about our baldness or our weight or whatever.
Yeah,
we would probably.
Usually it's us sitting around a grill or a fire and having drinks.
Yes, that is well.
To people in the social group, not random high school recruits.
Correct. And so that was weird. Also weird that apparently the Alabama staff referred to Nick Saban as daddy.
I understand it, but that's a bit inappropriate, I think.
Because someone called Golding out and said, hey, that's fucked up. I believe it was Arch's high school coach was like, hey, that was fucked up. And he was like, yeah, I know, but daddy has been on me to get this kid. And I don't know. This is taking a more paternal theme than I had imagined for our first show here.
Yeah.
Where a lot of fathers, sons, daddies, uncles.
Father-son interactions that have gone not so great.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you think...
You have the chance to break the mold.
Yeah. So do you think that if Arch had gone to Alabama, that Saban would have retired? Because it wasn't like Jalen Milroe was terrible. He was good.
No,
but
I think
Arch Manning is Arch Manning.
I think Saban was probably looking to retire anyways. He did not like NIL. I think that was his main problem. Because Saban could have gotten any recruit he wanted. He proved that for decades.
Yeah.
That he can get whoever he wants. But, yeah, it's just not going to... He was that older mindset. There's not been a whole lot of coaches that have gone from that previous era and been successful in the new era with NIL. Kiffin has done it, but I think Kiffin was more inclined to do it. Older coaches are not ones for change.
No. What do you think Saban hates more, NIL or working alongside Pat McAfee? Because sometimes I'll see him next to McAfee, and I'm like, this is a man.
Oh man, he probably has a really true disdain for both.
Yeah,
that's probably a coin toss, really.
It's tough.
I think he sees Pat McAfee as NIL.
Yeah, was it Shane
the
Gillis?
Face of NIL is Pat McAfee in his mind.
Wasn't he angry at Shane Gillis at a game last year too? Because he like made a joke about Alabama cheating to get players, which is that kind of ties into NIL too. And I think at one point Saban was wearing a hat, a ridiculous hat, and Shane Gillis called him Alabama Jones instead of Indiana Jones. I could see Saban's blood pressure going through the roof at the time.
I vaguely remember this happening, but I'd have to go back and look at the clip. But I remember Gillis being on the game day. Yeah, I mean, Saban, he doesn't like when people attack his ego.
No, I hear he's hilarious if you really get to know him, but I don't know how many people really get to know him.
Well, the only jokes I heard, like the jokes I heard him tell, it's always like D's nuts.
He loves a D's nuts joke.
He loves a D's nuts, but that was popular like in the early 2000s. I don't think anybody's doing that anymore.
That was the pre-NIL era of jokes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But big game for Arch. Texas playing Ohio State on Saturday. Probably the biggest game, but not one of our games of the week because we have several for you to pay attention to, starting Auburn at Baylor, Friday, 8 p.m. on Fox. Petey, what do you like about the Auburn-Baylor game on Friday?
Well, it's going to be a true litmus test of what Auburn is. Baylor's not, an elite team, but they're a decent team. I think they won like 8 games last year, something like that. And Auburn has got a lot of talent that Hugh Freeze has brought in. He's on the hot seat. I think this is his 4th year. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So he's he's got they brought him in to turn the program around, and he's not done it so far. But he's brought in a lot of recruits, so he's got a lot of talent. But he's got to be able to bring that talent onto the field and actually do something with it. So is Auburn back?
I'm going to go with no.
Year, they were terrible and inconsistent. We got to see something out of them this year.
So I will say it is his 3rd year, and they were 5-7 last year and 5-7 his first year. But you are right that the clock is ticking for him because it was a pretty big embarrassment to bring Hugh Freeze aboard as your coach at Auburn because of all that comes along with Hugh Freeze.
All the scandals.
Yes. So if you're going to bring in that type of criticism for a man, he does have to give you results, especially when you're paying him what they're paying him. And he hasn't done it, which kind of feels like a pretty typical Auburn football move, honestly.
Yeah, Auburn has been... It's so hard to describe Auburn because they're either god-awful or winning national championships.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have, weird plays bounce their way to get into those national championship games, but it's so there's no middle ground with them. And right now he's kind of in the mediocre era, but Auburn is, they're never going to be a dynasty. It's hard to tell.
No, it's tough, and I will say. One other reason why it's hard for me to believe in them, I have a bias about quarterbacks, and Jackson Arnold appears to be their starting quarterback. We saw him last year at Oklahoma. Not great. So
yeah,
sometimes some people just need a change of scenery, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the case for him.
Yeah, I don't know if Hugh Freeze is like the quarterback whisperer or not, but I don't think so. But yeah, Jackson Arnold looked terrible in the game against us. Turned the ball over like 3 times in the first 2 minutes. Can't remember if those were all him or if that was Hawkins as well. But it was. I can't imagine that his confidence level has increased since last year. And maybe something's happened in the offseason, but. Until I got to see it to believe it.
Yes. Also, his first name is a last name, and his last name is a first name. So, Auburn is favored by 2.5 right now. We will see what happens there. Next
it's in Waco too, right?
Yep, in Waco.
Yeah.
Next up, we have number 9 LSU taking on number 4 Clemson in Clemson Saturday, 7:30 on ABC. What interests you about the Battle of the Tigers? That's the Death Valley battle too, I believe.
Yeah, they're both Death Valley. I don't know how they both came up with those names. Not a lot of valleys in Louisiana. And there's also not a lot of death in Clemson. I don't know.
No, thanks to New Spring Church, there's not. So, yeah, what caught your eye about this game?
So they're both have really high potential. They also have underperformed to their standards in in recent years. I don't know what Clemson is. I don't know what LSU is. Clemson's got Klubnik coming back. Everybody has him on a Heisman watch list. They also have Garrett as a Heisman watch list. Dusmeyer's Heisman watch list too. I think it's just because they're fucking old. I mean,
that's true.
It's just been there forever.
True. They were there back in the day telling these nuts jokes.
Yeah.
Been around.
I didn't see anything particularly great out of either one of them the last few years. LSU should have more talent. They have been absolutely terrible on defense the last few years and have relied on outscoring people. The opposite's been true with Clemson. Good defense, not a whole lot of offensive production. They're hoping that's going to change. I really hate both of their coaches. So I think either way I come out as a win-win, whoever loses this game.
Whoever loses.
But I want Clemson to lose more just because I hate Clemson more.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I guess we'll find out, are either one of these teams any good? It's hard to tell. Yeah. So it could set up either team for like a really good run.
Yeah, and you're right about the coaches because they are annoying in two separate ways. In that Dabo is just over the top, rah-rah, Jesus, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you can hate a man for being too happy, but I do. And Brian Kelly is just the opposite end of the spectrum where he's just seems like an even bigger dickhead than you could even imagine for a college football coach. And we've talked about Saban, Bill Belichick as a college football coach. I've never heard anyone talk about Brian Kelly in the way that we talked about Saban, where like, well, yeah, but if you get to know him, he's a hilarious guy. He's got a great brownie recipe, this, that, and the other. No, I don't know of anybody who actually likes Brian Kelly. So I'm one of those people who doesn't.
Brian Kelly's got the pedigree. Like, he's got proven history of winning at multiple places. So his arrogance is somewhat justified. And then Dabo is just like, he's not an X's and O's guy. He's not done it multiple places. I get that he's where he wants to be and he's won national championships, but he had all these other supporting cast members that did it for him, in my opinion. And Kelly has done it on his own. So
yeah, you're right though. Like, I am pulling for both of them to lose, and it probably matters more. That's actually a good question. I don't know who it matters more to. Who needs to win this game more? That's what we need to determine.
I think Kelly needs to win it more because there's more of a demand at LSU.
Yeah, and
Dabo has won 2 national championships at Clemson already. They're probably never going to fire him. He's never going to be on the hot seat.
And I would say like LSU was playing it. Yeah, LSU's playing an SEC schedule too, so any loss is going to hurt. So you can't lose to an ACC team to open the season.
Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't get it and he gets fired. Very funny for him to leave Notre Dame because it was too hard to recruit because of their academic standards, and then go be worse at LSU than he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of Notre Dame, number 6 Notre Dame at number 10 Miami. Sunday 7:30 on ABC. Petey, what did you like about this game?
Well, it's, the rematch of convicts versus Catholics, so that keeps getting thrown up every day. We're going to find out, is Miami any good at defense? Is Carson Beck able to throw a football again? Also, what is Notre Dame? Obviously, they still have that great running back, but we don't know much about their quarterback situation. It's just a lot of question marks that are get hopefully answered. I have a feeling that Notre Dame is the better team here. I just don't have faith in Miami ever.
That's
also,
correct.
Defensively, they were a liability last year. Has that been improved? Probably not, but we'll see.
Yep, 2.5 point spread.
I know Notre Dame's number 6, and then Miami's, what are they ranked, 18 or something like that?
10th.
10th. So a top 10 matchup.
Yep. So Notre Dame favored by 2.5. You're right. We don't know about their quarterback situation or Miami's, because like you were saying, Carson Beck had that arm injury that was gross looking. But even before his arm was hurt, not really who you want throwing the ball. Can they make him look good? No. Can they make him look good in this Miami offense? I don't think so. Okay. It's one thing to make Cam Ward look good, because Cam Ward was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can make a guy who's not good look good. Who's it? Tyler Van Dyke was the quarterback before, and he was supposed to be really good, and then he looked terrible. It's Mario Cristobal is my huge question mark for Miami.
I don't know that they've had, other than last year, they have not finished a season with the same quarterback that they started with.
Yeah, they're a big portal team.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been going particularly well for them. So I do like nostalgia, so it is fun to see the old Catholics versus convicts. Maybe not quite as much as we've seen it, but
it's not as much emphasis on this game. Neither one of them are, ranked as high as they were back in the, 83 when that first happened?
Yeah, so I just don't know. There's nothing about Miami excites me, and I just know they're going to do something stupid. Notre Dame is basically a guaranteed playoff team.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. There just aren't enough stakes on this one, but I am curious to see which one. Someone's going to do something hilariously stupid, and that's what I want to see. And I put money on
Miami.
Yep. And so I kind of want to see, how does Mario Cristobal blow this one? But as we talked about in the preview show, it is also a perfect situation for him in that it's an early in the season big game that they could win to set up a hilarious failure down the road.
It is at home, but it's not supposed to be as hot, as Miami normally is this time of year. So I don't think it's going to be as advantageous as it normally would be coming from Notre Dame in Indiana. It's not typically as hot and humid as Miami, but so Notre Dame's getting a little bit of a break opening in Miami.
Don't they always?
Yeah.
Petey, do you hear that?
I hear a motorcycle driving by.
No, it's not a motorcycle. That's the ocean, because it's time for the Gamecocks football captain's log. Presented by Morris Island Charters. Sunday, 3 p.m. on ABC in Atlanta. Your number 13 South Carolina Gamecocks take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Petey, what are you looking forward to in this game? Tell us, break it down. Let us know what to expect. I can't see, so it made it hard for me to read my notes because these are not functional sunglasses, and that's my mistake.
That's okay.
Continue.
You don't have to keep them on.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. All right. So Gamecocks wise, we're going to have to answer some questions. I don't like that we're playing on a Sunday instead of a Saturday. I don't know why we like to start off week one on either playing on weird days. Usually we play on Thursday for some reason.
Yeah.
But it's in Atlanta, so we don't have home field advantage. But it's not too terribly far from Columbia, so hopefully a lot of fans will travel. Obviously, we should win this game. If you just look at recent history and players that we've got versus what they've got, can we get a lot of production out of Lenoris and not make stupid decisions and turnovers? Obviously, week one, I expect us to be sloppy like we always are. If you remember Akron last year, that was not a great game to watch. So this is just a question answering game. Do we get as good of a defense as we got last year or something similar to? Can we get some wide receivers that are going to step up and make plays, give Lenoris somebody to throw to? Obviously, he's hard to tackle. Can our offensive line give him protection and not just have him running around for his life the entire time? I think the offensive line play will be better than it was last year, but maybe minutely. Wasn't good last year, just was he covered up for their mistakes. And I don't know what we're going to look like in the secondary or as far as like defensively and up front will still be good, but we need to get somebody else than Stewart to rush the quarterback. Otherwise, they're just going to double team Stewart the whole time. Questions at linebacker. We lost Debo. We lost Demetrius Knight. Can we fill those gaps and get the same results? I don't know. But the good thing is that Virginia Tech is not great.
Yeah.
So their quarterback situation, Drones, he looks good at times. He also looks really bad at times. The stats will tell you that he's better out of play action, but not so great out of just dropbacks. So I don't know. They've got a decent running back with Stewart. He can break some tackles. Other than that, I don't know much about them. They've got a lot of transfers coming in. I think like 30 transfers. They've only got 5 returning starters, 2 on offense, 3 on defense. A lot of questions around this team. This is also their head coach, Coach Price, on the hot seat. They had a lot of expectations on them last year. Didn't really work out. I don't think that this is probably a 6-6 team with Virginia Tech. Maybe 7, but most likely a 6-6 team.
Yeah, this feels like a definite must-win with who we have on the schedule moving forward. Like, you can't lose this one.
Yeah.
We did get the news. Rasul Faison, running back transfer, will be eligible to play. So thank God, because I don't know what was going to happen. I guess Oscar Attaway. I don't know. That was going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't love Attaway either.
No. So we got the comp from our dear friend Brett that Faison is like former Gamecock Corey Boyd. So that's good. Corey Boyd was very good for us.
He was certainly for the time, probably a B+ player at running back. Certainly serviceable. I'll take it. Just give us somebody else to carry the ball other than Lenoris is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I'm expecting a drop-off defensively.
Yeah.
So can we overcome that with an improvement offensively, whether that's through the offensive line being a little bit better, Lenoris not turning the ball over as much and being a little bit sharper on some of his throws, Faison figuring out how to make something happen out of the backfield, and of course the huge question mark is receiver. We've talked about that for quite some time. So yeah, I'm very curious to see if we can do that. But this is a Virginia Tech team, like you were saying, that is right in that sweet spot where they're good enough to give us some answers, but they shouldn't test us too terribly right now.
Yeah.
So if we do give up a ton of points, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah.
And if we don't score a decent amount of points, I will also be sick.
Yeah, I mean, so with defense and our strategy, we know what we're getting. We've had Clayton White for too long. We know what his play style is. But we don't know what our offense is going to look like with Shula.
Yep.
I mean, he's done great things with players like Cam Newton, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm hoping Lenoris has somewhat of an understanding of the offense and can go out there and act with confidence. Previous years, offensively, we've always looked like we don't understand our own offense, especially a quarterback, with too many reads, too many pre-snap stuff going on. I'm hoping that we have gotten things simplified, and also that we're going to threaten the ball down the field with Nick Harbor. I have been screaming it for 2 years now.
Yes, that's true.
Throw the ball deep to Nick Harbor. He's the fastest human on the field. Why are we not throwing it deep? He's also 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5", 235.
DBs are what, like normally like 5'10", 5'11". I mean, he's the most athletic person on the field. Just send him. Just send him. I don't care if he doesn't catch it. Just pretend he might catch it. You know, the defense is going to have to react to him. So, like, stretch the field. I just want to see somebody use him adequately. And I'm hoping Shula has got some kind of game plan for him.
Yes. And before we get to your prediction for the game, in keeping with the theme of the show, Virginia Tech, famously where Shane Beamer's coach, Shane Beamer's dad coached for so long. My prediction, which is less important than your prediction because you're the captain, my prediction, Gamecocks win. Beamer sees his dad in the stands with a Virginia Tech hat on, fights him in the parking lot after the game. So, all right, current spread, South Carolina is favored by 8. You've spoken to the Dolphins. They've told you they're placing all their entertainment purposes where?
So the 8-point spread is really one of those unique ones. It's hard to really put a,
yeah, it's bad.
Basically a touchdown and 2-point conversion. Yeah, that is, and we always suck the first game. We always suck.
Yeah.
So knowing this, the Dolphins have got the Dolphins have really had a hard week making this. Where they're going to put their flippers on which side of the water. But smart money is on South Carolina to cover the 8 points. The Dolphins don't have any faith in Virginia Tech doing anything good. Not that they should have any on the Gamecocks either, but there's more talent there on the Gamecocks side of the water. So they're going to take the points. They're going to give the points and go with the Gamecocks this Sunday.
I believe, Petey, if someone is in the Low Country area and wants to see these Dolphins for themselves, how would they get in touch with you for a beautiful tour of the Low Country waters?
Well, you can call me, text me. Number is 843-608-8006. You can email me at morrisislandcharters@gmail.com. You can go on the website and book yourself, morrisislandcharter.com, no S. Or find me on Instagram.
Follow him on Instagram. I don't know if you can book through Instagram, but you can certainly follow him there.
Well, you can get the website on Instagram.
There we go. And if you follow him there, you'll see what you're missing out on.
Yes.
So you heard it here. The Dolphins take the Gamecocks, as do I. I will be in the stadium for what will probably be my only Gamecock game in person this year as a new dad, but that's okay. because I can support from afar. This has been the first episode of the Nameless College Football Show. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week after we fight our dads.